Hampton Institute was started after the Civil War in 1866 by Samuel Armstrong to pursue its mandate to assist the children of former slaves, and after 1878 dispossessed Indians to become proud and useful citizens in the South. The trade they were taught was made up of blue-collar jobs such as housework, carpentry, and agricultural work. Hampton's goals were to uplift the black population through hard labor and land ownership, the same ideology that Booker T. Washington expressed in his 1885 Atlanta Compromise speech, contradictory to W.E.B. Du Bois's idea of uplift through education. In December 1899, the well-established female photographer Frances Benjamin Johnson arrived in Hampton to take photographs for an exposition in Paris to demonstrate the contemporary life of the American Negro and advertise the existence and success of Hampton to an international audience. In her album, she depicted the images of well-dressed and attentive students in their classes, learning useful skills. Through these images, Hampton displayed the idea of the Southern workman to the world. The Southern Workman was originally the name of Hampton Institute's journal and was used as a resource for documenting the development of early care and education in Virginia. The journal is also well known for bringing to light the contributions of African Americans that had been omitted from history. 100 years later, contemporary artist Carrie Mae Weems was commissioned by the Williamstown Art Conservation Center for a conservation project and exposition titled "To Conserve a Legacy: American Art from Historically Black Colleges and Universities." In her exhibition titled "The Hampton Project," Weems deconstructs the work of Johnson through the eyes of a contemporary artist who finds evidence of continuing servitude and cultural erasure in Johnson's scenes of industry and assimilation. In her exposition, Weems takes Johnson's photos and places text over some of the images to provoke the viewer into searching for a deeper meaning in the photographs. Hampton Institute, in its efforts to educate its students, removed them from their culture and forced them to abide to the white man's culture. In the words of Booker T. Washington, no white American ever thinks that any other race is wholly civilized until he wears the white man's clothes, eats the white man's food, speaks the white man's language, and professes the white man's religion. Weems also displays Johnson's photographs of Hampton students juxtaposed with images of the Trail of Tears and Ku Klux Klan parades. This is to symbolize that, although Hampton was a step in the right direction, society as a whole still has a long way to go, and this ideology still persists today. Many of the photographs displayed in the exposition are printed on a fabric hung from the ceiling. The cloth serves as a metaphor for society, with the threads symbolic of social relations. Fabric is also seen as a metaphor for connections. The physical attributes of fabric include many small threads coming together, symbolizing the way humans are bound together from a social aspect. The fabric also symbolizes a connection to ancestors and descendants, the past and the future. The hanging of the artwork could also be a historical reference to lynchings. Above all, the goal of Weems' Hampton Project was to expose the cultural obliteration that defined the educational mission at Hampton and shed light on the oppression and victimization experienced by African Americans at these times. Just because Johnson's photography album received much success did not mean life at Hampton was perfect and stress-free. The reality was, America was still a dangerous place for minorities, and Hampton was the first step in the journey towards equal treatment. The exhibition also included audio of Weems reading poems in her own voice throughout. In a recent interview with Weems, she discusses new connections she made while creating her exposition. She stated that she drew a lot of parallels between the assimilation of Hampton's Institute and today's modern American school systems. The same way that Hampton restrained its pupils to allow them to seek a norm of approval is something that Weems sees in today's school systems. Ultimately, in her exposition, Weems unearths the cultural assimilation in Johnson's art, and through Weems' contemporary art, she gives voice to the varied and changing cultural landscape of identities, values, and beliefs through history.